morning and go Hokies, everybody. I'm in a beanie mood. It is cold here in northern Georgia this morning, and I love it. Went to the dog park though, and I got some beanie hair. So I was figuring this is a show that I should go ahead and just keep the beanie on. Feel like you guys needed that this morning for this fine Saturday. We got a great show lined up for you guys today because we're talking crypto, and the two biggest stories probably are going to be Ripple IPO coming very, very soon. What would that mean for XRP? Could that actually be potentially be bad for XRP? I'm going to give a take on that a little bit later. The second big story, and there's actually two different promises he made, but we have some big promises coming from Elon Musk with his companies when it pertains to cryptocurrency. Make sure you don't go anywhere. And you want to hear what those are. But if you are loving this Saturday morning, listen, we haven't delivered anything. And if you don't want to hit the like button just yet, that's completely okay. We haven't earned it at this point. I don't know. My hair might have earned it. But if you are here for crypto and you don't think we've earned your like yet, give us about another 10 minutes and then smash the like button. But if we have earned your like by now, go ahead and smash that like button and hit subscribe if you enjoy some good, fun Saturday crypto talk. I'm joined by T-Shroom. Let's see his bed hair this morning. T-Shroom, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great, Tim. And I learned one of the great things that I inherited from my service in the Army was really short hair. I had never had short hair before the Army, but as many of you know, if you go in the military, they're going to buzz cut you. And I was like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Yeah. So
yeah. I'm gonna show you guys a picture of. Don't go to my screen just yet. I want to show you guys a picture of T-Shroom pre-military. Don't go to my screen, T-Shroom. Please don't do this.
I can see what's on it. I'm not going there.
Just go to my screen in just a sec. Not yet. I just want people to know what you looked like previously before military opportunities came. Hold on. There we go. Okay. All right. You can go ahead and share your screen. This was my good friend T-Shroom.
Wow.
Before joining the military, they said cut those locks off.
Yeah.
And now you get the man that is before you.
Yeah. So, times have changed and now here I am. I've also lost a little weight, but that's all fun and games. I do have a Socrates quote for us. It wouldn't be an Investing Bros episode without true wisdom comes to each of us when we realize how little we understand about life, ourselves, and the world around us. That again is from your boy Socrates.
Socrates. I think Socrates is so great.
Wow.
Again, we've been silly here up to this point, but I always love your quotes of the day. Because here's the thing. We love crypto. We love having fun, but we really want to improve as people and think more effectively. And one of the biggest problems I think with the world right now, T-Shroom, is everyone is so self-focused. They want to be self-assured. They want to be right, but they don't care if what they're saying is actually correct. They just want their argument to win out. And they don't stop to think about truth. They don't stop to think about wisdom. All they can think about themselves. And effectively, we have the highest level of depression and selfishness the world probably has ever seen. And it's because everyone's just focused on themselves. When you stop and reflect and give credit to other people and you're humble, that actually not only makes you wiser, it makes you a happier person as a whole. I don't know if you knew this. I think I've said this on the show before, but you know what? Like now when people go and get counseling, one of the biggest things other than medication that counselors will give people that struggle with depression is they'll tell them to go serve like at a homeless shelter or some sort of charity where it forces them to stop thinking about themselves and think about someone else. And that is one of the greatest cures of depression. And it's not even medication. And so I think that quote was a beautiful one. And Socrates is a great, great quoter. He's done swell. How's he doing? How's he doing recently?
Socrates?
Yeah, Socrates.
Well, his name is pressing on. Some people you may be watching, he also goes by Socrates.
Yeah, it's true.
But we like to joke because he's a mainstay on the show. He's basically another bro. He would have been. I think that's something to think about. If he was alive today, Socrates would have been an Investing Bro member. Yes. I think he would have been platinum. Yes, I have a story. About that. I'm gonna look it up because I tell this story often, but I want to make sure that it's true. So let me tell this. Look this up. So let's move on. Do you want to go ahead and look at the charts or anything?
Well, yeah, let's do charts here in a second. We got stories too. Eric Wallen just gave a super chat. You guys know we don't miss super chats. That's one thing we never do here on Investing Bros. And he said, "Why does Socrates have so many quotes? Did someone just follow him around writing down everything he said?"
Yeah.
That would have been. I mean, I'm assuming that would be a good hire if they did do that. That's
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes,
wonder
here
what
it
the pay
is.
would
It
be.
is true. It is true. Okay.
But
Okay. So
okay, well,
similar,
we switched from Socrates to Justin Bieber. Here
similar to what you said, Tim. You said that Socrates would have been an investing
bro.
bro. So this is from the BBC. This is from April 2013. I remember this. Anger over Justin Bieber's Anne Frank message. This is a true story. The 19-year-old hip hop idol wrote, "Truly, after visiting a museum, and there was an exhibit for Anne Frank at a museum, and I'm not going to read some of these harsher words here, but he said, truly inspiring to be able to come here. Anne was a great girl. Hopefully, she would have been a believer." Oh man, I think
Good
self-absorbed may be an understatement for Bieber, but it's like, can you blame him? He's got the pipes, he's got the looks. Just like I thought I had.
It's I couldn't tell the difference. For a second, I thought that was you. And then I was like,
Right.
no, that's Justin Bieber.
Right. A lot of people look like me today.
Okay. All right. We are this. All right. Take a deep breath here, T-shirt. We're going to get serious on this show. We're going to talk about crypto this morning on the Saturday show.
B-Tech.
Go Hokies. All right. Let's go do some TA this morning. Not a whole lot different. We're slightly up. We got to go down to small time frames to kind of give our wins and celebrations. Let's take down fixed range volume. Well, I'll show you fixed range volume profile real quick. Keep an eye out for it. That value area high we're kind of wrestling with right now, coming in at about 34,800. We did wick up here last night. We wicked all the way up here, or early this morning, I guess, back to 35,000, but hit our heads right on it, fell back down. As a whole, we're continuing this crab walk, this sideways movement. There's going to be people continuing to hold on and say, guys, bull flag, bull pennant still in play, 39,000, 42,000 coming. And guess what? It's possible. Now, it's not necessarily too likely, in my opinion. We're also starting, as we get to these higher levels, we're getting more bearish flashes. We haven't had a peak seeker on the hourly chart since a long, long time ago. And in fact, the last time we got that peak seeker was a pretty good one. Didn't necessarily crash the price too far down afterwards, but definitely marked a top that moved us sideways. So I do think best case scenario for Bitcoin, we're moving sideways continually. But guess what? A sideways move just continues to kind of verify. That's a Bart Simpson's pattern. That would be what we're looking for there. Remember, the reason why we're kind of looking here a little more skeptical, 5-daily chart just flashing overbought for us. We do not have that happening on the weekly, although we need to wait to see what this candle closes. I think it will be interesting to see what prints Monday morning, which, by the way, is it tonight or tomorrow that the time moves back, T-Shroom? Do you know that?
Sunday. I believe it's Sunday.
So do we wake up Sunday morning to the time move back, or do we wake up Monday morning to the time?
Let me do a little research.
And do that research. That could have been a trivia question of the day if the elf had thought about it. But we're waiting to see this weekly chart, this weekly candle. Green candle at the moment did open up here at about 34,500. Where are we when the daily candle closed? That'll be about 8 p.m. Sunday, unless the time changes before that, in which case then it would be, I believe that would make it 7 p.m. But don't quote me on that. That could be wrong. I want to see what prints on the weekly chart. But these larger time frames, not necessarily what you want to see if you're a long-term bull, because 5-daily charts, there's not a lot of misses. I told you guys, in bull markets, when you go all the way to the daily chart, for example, let's back this up. In the bull market, during daily charts, you get a lot of ignoring of overbought signals. So that's actually a sign. It's like a badge of honor that the bearish calls just get ignored. In the bear markets, the bullish calls get ignored. But when you move all the way out to the 5-daily, especially go out to the weekly, these ones are a lot better. In fact, when you look at every single time these triggered, I know it looks like the price just keeps going up, 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 up and away, but every single time we get a trigger on the 5-daily chart, that did come with corrections. Some of them as severely as 38%. So this chart is not one the bulls like to see overbought flashing on in Bitcoin. But here's the thing. Enough about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, It's had a great run here. It's moving up, but we really want to know what the altcoins look like. And the first thing we got to take a look at here is the Bitcoin dominance. Now, as I said, we got a nice reversal here on Bitcoin dominance. Are we going to lose this support level? It looks like we've actually wicked below kind of at the moment. Let's go to the daily chart on this one. Oh, today, this morning, I hadn't looked at this chart just yet. Come on now, go down for me. We had this trend line right here, and we got to fix it technically because that's not a clean touch. Let's fix this trend line a little bit better, which changes things just a little bit. But we're wrestling with a former resistance level. Are we going to turn it into support? We are seeing some signs on the chart saying that we are overbought on that. We could see a correction coming. But to me, I think that if we correct, a place I'm going to be watching is back here towards 52%. Of course, that was the last high we had back in June. Could happen, could be a very quick fallback. You guys can see we actually even corrected to that right back here on October 22nd. But if we do lose this level of support, even if we pull back to there, that's still an uptrend happening here on Bitcoin dominance, which takes me to the next thing we got to look at here. Let's take a look at our total. Now, this is total 2. In case anyone doesn't know what total 2 is the market cap of crypto altcoins, including Ethereum, right? So total, if you ever type in total up here to the top left bar, that'll give you all of cryptocurrency. Total 2 is everything excluding Bitcoin. And you will see that we're coming up to a level of resistance again. Now, we had a little bit of a fake out back here in April, but as a whole, we have kind of been in this falling trend that we're coming right back to. There might be a small little push continually to the upside, but it's going to be hard for us to break on through that. You kind of pull up here and you're taking a look at oscillators, overbought flashing here more recently. Let's take a look at larger time frames, 2 daily. Let's see what it say. Yeah, we're getting these overbought flashes here as well. So are we about to see the altcoins fall down? Do we maybe see a quick surge in altcoins just to get up to that resistance level and a small dip in Bitcoin dominance? Or do we, are we going to just see a break through this resistance, or vice versa? Bitcoin dominance finds its support. Same thing with total 3. And I know some of you might be kind of lagging behind here, but total 3 is where you talk about every altcoin except for Ethereum. So this one excludes Ethereum. It's actually already gotten into its level of resistance. What could this mean when I'm looking at this? And it's got reversal as well. Do we potentially here in the next couple of days see Ethereum have a little bit more of a run? Whether that means everything rises in price and Ethereum goes faster, or does that mean everything else is about to dip, but Ethereum's going to stay strong, not have a harsh dip? And then we see the total 2 chart get a little bit higher to the upside. We see the total 3 start to fall. We see the Bitcoin dominance start to fall. That's what we're kind of looking at right here. I don't think that this is time for the altcoin season, but I do think there's potentially a little bit left. And I'm looking at, I told you guys yesterday, Ethereum is the only altcoin that has not hit a level that we've talked about, that we thought it would get to. Bitcoin, we hit 36,000 on the dot, exactly as we predicted here on Investing Bros. On Solana, we hit 4660. We went to 65. So we said 4660, but hit it right on the dot, reversed right there. Cardano went a little higher. We said 31 cents. It ended up going all the way close to 33 cents. Does Cardano have a little more run left in it? We'll have to wait on that one. But Ethereum, the only one that has not done what we thought it would do, and that would be come up here and touch this red line, touch 1900, and then reverse, go to the downside. The highest we've been on Ethereum is actually up here towards 1875. So we stopped about $25 short of our prediction here on Investing Bros. What do you guys think in the comments? Again, we're kind of seeing here, there's a lot of things that can play out, but the fact that Bitcoin dominance is starting to fall here, getting back down towards level support, the fact that we still have some room to touch resistance on total 2, which includes Ethereum, but it does look like we're hitting resistance on total 3, which does not include Ethereum. To me, I'm seeing that kind of play out, and I think, again, just my opinion, I think it would not be crazy to see Bitcoin and altcoins maybe potentially be outpaced in the next couple of days by Ethereum, not by a lot. We're not talking about crazy numbers. We're just talking about maybe Bitcoin and altcoins drop by 2-3% and Ethereum stays still or maybe goes up 0.5%. It's not going to take a lot, but I do think Ethereum has a chance at doing something that is not done recently, and that is kind of lead the market. T-Shroom, we'll do some more TA later. We probably will have some Q&A. There's not a lot of TA to do here on the coins we've done a lot because, again, they're not doing anything special. We're running into resistance. It's decision time. We've been talking about that for a while. Decision time. Do we break resistance or do we reject it and move to the downside? But do you have any thoughts or do you see chat that we should address here?
Well, Tim, I've got some news here for any Hello Labs holders. Look at this green candlestick. It is up 27% this morning. You can't see this. Hold on. I don't think I'm going to actually. I can't show you, but it's this is the weekly candle. Let's go to the daily candle. There's a 4-hour here.
Yeah.
This is exciting. Got a big pop here for. Let's see. This is the fourth. This is the fourth right here. Yeah. So. Boom, 9%, 10%. Okay, well, it's showing 26% here on my screen. There we go. I can show you there. There, you can see.
Now, do you know the market cap of Hello Labs?
I think it might actually say it here on TradingView. Stand by. I want to say it's under 100 million.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah, market cap 74 million. Right here.
And we got Eric Wallen saying, Tim, can you do CAS as well? By the way, CAS just set a new high. But again, we're at market cap at $1 billion. Yeah, we can go to my screen real quick. CAS is still in this rising wedge. But this morning, we beat out the high we had back here on Wednesday, September 20th. Caspa making a little surge here. The problem is, again, everything I just talked about, you're really dealing with larger caps that make those charts move. Even Caspa getting up there in size, only having $1 billion market cap, unless that market cap just explodes and the price of Caspa goes up by like 100%, it's not going to have too much of an impact necessarily on those charts. But we're still seeing signs here of smaller caps potentially still moving to the upside. Now, one thing you do need to know about smaller caps is that if something catastrophic happens and it does send Bitcoin down and these larger cap altcoins down, we've talked about Bitcoin potentially crashing somewhere between 25 to 35% and maybe even deeper. Altcoins potentially crashing anywhere from 40 to 50%. When we're talking about these small caps, if something really bad happens, people will take their money out of these projects and they could be absolutely rough. Caspa, though, I'm very bullish on. I do think Caspa has a long way to go.
Have you bought Caspa yet, Tim?
No, I'm waiting for a dip. I'm not going to buy when we're sitting at all-time high, especially in a bearish formation that is a rising wedge.
Well, I posted in the chat yesterday in the chat room where we post all our trades, not financial advice. It's just art. Just art and education. I posted that I did swap all my ADA for Caspa last night, so it was good timing on my part.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, I don't want to take profit until we get up to that upper band of resistance.
Yeah. Honestly, man, like you could. We're already above 5 cents now, right? So we're at 5.4 cents. I'm not going to be surprised if we see a 5.7, 5.8 cent Caspa. I'm not saying it won't go down, but what I am going to say is that this is a crazy run right here. Caspa, of course, even though it still is a small cap, it's on the verge of becoming maybe a more medium cap coin, but it's still a small cap. People are really hyped about it. And that's why a lot of money is going into it. But just like everything else, when you have these explosive moves to the upside, you do have the retracements coming. What I'm keeping my eye on, and I think this is not ridiculous. Let's see. Let's pretend the top is right now. I still think I could probably get a good buy in here, about 3.3 cents. That would be a 39% dip. If we do what I just said we could do, potentially get up here to 5.8 cents, that would be a good 43% dip. That's not even harsh, guys. Again, altcoins, we might see altcoins about to dip 40 to 50%. So for Caspa to only dip 43% after a rally like that, not that big of a deal. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Would show a lot of strength. Of course, there's a chance it drops lower than that, but I think we're going to continue a very good bullish push. I don't think all of the Caspa hype is fake. I think there's a portion of it that people don't really know anything about it. They're just buying in because other people are buying in. But I think there's a large community that understands the value of Caspa. Caspa is something good moving forward, and they're investing for the long haul. But those will still come with 40%, 50% pullbacks.
Yeah, let me show you guys something I've been looking at. Why Caspa is a little bit different in my mind is its proximity to the Bollinger Band out on the weekly chart. So you can see this is Caspa. It hasn't really spent much time below the midline of the Bollinger Band at all, just in its whole life, at least on this MEXC chart, right? Whereas if you go to Ethereum, this is going back to October of 2022. So let's take note of that. back to October of 2000, was it, I said 20, yeah, 22. You can see that's right around in here. You know, Ethereum has spent a decent amount of time under the Bollinger Band, just kind of as a benchmark for altcoins, right? Has spent a decent amount of time, did spend a good amount of time above it, making a move higher, but now is down below it, right? And is trying to pierce back through that midline of the Bollinger Band. Meanwhile, Caspa, it just never did, right? There's just way more buyers here as you start to approach that midline. So that tells me that folks are really bullish on it. And the reason they're bullish is because it's still so small, right? And so they want to get in early, and you know, there are some forces that could push this baby back down, but I'm just not. I'm on the side of like I don't know that
the forces aren't that even confusing. It's just wise money understanding to take profit and buy lower. That's just normal. That's normal price movement on charts, especially for smaller caps like Caspa. Now, here's what we're gonna do. Again, I'm sure there's a lot of people joining in. They see the title. They're like, what the heck is Ripple about to IPO? And what is this big promise that Elon Musk is making? Let's jump into some stories. We'll do some charts again if we have some Q&A later on. But that is, again, big cap coins not doing a lot this morning. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, kind of exactly where we left them after yesterday's show. And not really showing signs of explosiveness coming here anytime soon. We do have some explosive small caps. We'll look at more of those later. But let's start off with our trivia question of the day. Does the elf work on Saturdays?
The elf absolutely works on Saturdays.
Okay. And then we'll jump into these stories.
Now, the elf has been trying to whip up a union along with the automakers, the auto workers. And
that makes sense.
Tim and I, we've met with our attorneys, and we have we have to come down hard on these factoid elf unions that are trying to form up.
Listen, if he doesn't play his cards right, we're going to send him back to making shoes. So
that's right.
Getting to just make trivia questions seems like a really easy gig compared to shoemaking.
Yeah, we pay him enough. We pay him in good vibes. Here is the prime minister. Who is the prime minister of Saudi Arabia? Is it Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud? Is it Mohammed bin Salman? Is it Sadiq Khan? Or Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Tim?
Well, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a famous soccer player, so that's not the right answer.
Okay.
So it's not D. I honestly do not know. Through the other ones, Saudi Arabia.
Give it a good thought. This is a top brain. This is a big brain question from the factoid.
I feel like A is too much. There's just too much going on there. So I'm going to limit it down to B or D. Get a lot of B's in chat. Mohammed bin Salman.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with B. I'm gonna go with B here.
You're gonna lock in B?
Mohammed bin Salman.
Okay, you're going with the crowd here, Tim.
Yeah,
Tim likes to fancy himself a contrarian, but when it really comes down to it, he just goes with the crowd. Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
I always use the to phone a friend, and I phone a bro, and the bro is in chat, and that's many of them. Now we are getting some A's coming in here.
Uh-oh.
Okay, now Indie Rock Crypto's messing with me. First he says B, then he says nah, A. I don't know if he's looking it up. I don't know what's happening here. That seems very strange, Indie Rock Crypto. You trying to throw me off in my predictions? So I'm going to have to say Indie Rock Crypto. I can't go with your guess, but Josh Denham is saying B. I'm going to say Josh Denham is correct, and we're going with B.
Sweet. Okay, you're locking in B. All right.
We're locking it in.
All right, let's move on into some of the stories here, guys. First one, Crypto Pundit highlights signs of an impending Ripple IPO. It's not so much whether or not it's going to happen, because nobody can know that, really. There's some speculation here in this article. What's more important is what would happen if this happened, right? So Tim and I are going to break it down for you a little bit, at least give you our take. In a video, Jackson examined the company's recent... Had to sneeze.
You muted yourself. That was impressive.
Right? Yeah, I'm pretty quick.
For a second, I thought you were just a silent sneezer, and I was going to ask about your mental well-being.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
In a video, Jackson examined the company's recent employment patterns, strategic expansion endeavors, and ongoing regulatory challenges as preliminary actions in their journey towards becoming a publicly traded entity. That, of course, referring to Ripple. So Jackson, kind of the analyst here, trying to form an argument for why Ripple may actually be trying to go public here. So Jackson argued that the hiring trends imply a preference for the United States, aligning with the possibility of a New York Stock Exchange listing despite the company's worldwide reach. Okay, so opting to stay in the country that has bit them, right? And then here you go. Although Ripple has not officially confirmed an IPO, the company's recent job listing for a senior shareholder communications manager strongly hints at one. So that's kind of the smoking gun right there.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is we here at Investing Bros, we're not, we're not the big whales. We don't have all the connections with all the insiders and everything. But T Shroom and I on this case actually have an inside man. We know the answer to this question. And we're not going to name who it is, and we're not going to name the details that we know because that would be unprofessional.
Right.
But I can tell you guys right now, we know T. Shroom and I, we know that they are filing an IPO. Like the fact that they first of all, it's pretty overwhelmingly obvious, even from the public's perspective, they're going to file for an IPO. But privately, we do know they're making every move as a company, the way they're doing their marketing, the way they're doing their branding, the people they're working with. We are going to be seeing a Ripple IPO coming out very, very soon. But T-Shroom, here's the question. Here's a question that I think that a lot of people are starting to wonder. And I saw even someone comment earlier on this chat. I don't see them still commenting. So maybe they just came in to poop on XRP and then they left. That's fine. I still think XRP is going to do well. But I do agree with this thought. He says, I'm tired of Ripple coming out with these news stories, and then they also come out and unlock tokens that they can dump on their users at any moment, right? And I don't think that they're going to dump all of it. I've thought through a lot. I used to be an XRP hater. I do not think they're going to dump all of it. That doesn't make sense. They're going to keep a good amount. But these constant unlocks, which do allow them now to have the ability to sell at any point they want to make money, and the fact that they're about to file for an IPO does make me question something, T-Shroom. Not that I don't think XRP will continue up and to the right, but could we see a Ripple IPO be suppressive to the price of XRP? And here's exactly why. Because the minute you get an IPO and you have shareholders and you have investors that you have to keep them happy, if anything goes wrong and money starts going down, they need to get that money back up. And what is the easiest thing that they could do? They could sell their XRP tokens. Suppressing the XRP price, keeping the shareholders of Ripple happy. Could this be a good move for the company Ripple? A good move for anyone who wants to invest in a company that I think is going to go very, very large, but potentially hampering / bad news for XRP holders? T-Shroom, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think what's happening here is exactly what the courts decided, right? The courts, Judge Torres decided that XRP is not a security, right? So what does that mean? That means that Ripple wants to turn around and create a security, the old-fashioned way, right? The way that they've been doing it since the beginning of the New York Stock Exchange is to take a company public, because at the end of the day, XRP is part of the product. It's part of the offering, right, of Ripple's company. And just because the price can go up and down for that doesn't mean that it's a security. It doesn't mean that you should anticipate, think of it purely as an investment, like you would, a share of Apple, right? It is part of the product. And in the same way, let me expand on that. In the same way, there can be like video games, right, that come out and they lose their value, or they gain value if there's if they stop making that video game. There's like Mario Nintendo 64 games that are worth a lot of money, right? So the value of that product that Nintendo created has gone up and down. Now, it's obviously not a one-to-one comparison to a cryptocurrency, right, that exists on a blockchain. But ultimately here, it kind of follows in logic that Ripple would go IPO, and those securities, those shares on the New York Stock Exchange on the open market, that is what you would anticipate seeing upside and investment on. So I think it's an interesting next step for crypto to see a company as big as Ripple go public. I don't know that we would ever see that with Ethereum. I don't know that we would ever see that with other crypto projects, right? But one that does come to mind is Coinbase, which is a public company. If they went the other way and issued a coin, right, or a stable coin, that would be kind of the opposite but similar move to this. So that's kind of my thoughts on this. What is the overall price effect on XRP? I do think that if this were to happen, you could kind of see it going both ways. The argument for the bullish is that the IPO would bring more liquidity to the company so that they could be more competitive and get more partnerships and deals, right? Which would bring the price of XRP higher, right? And then you have the opposite argument is that dollars that would have gone into buying XRP and boosted it higher, right, bid it up,
Mhm.
would just buy the shares. But I think it's going to be a mix of both because A, not everybody has a brokerage in the United States, whereas they can buy XRP on the open market for free. Well, without having to live in it. Like non-Americans can buy XRP, they can't buy Ripple shares, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. So
and I want to make it clear, like there's going to be moments where both of these move to the upside. By the way, I'm still bullish on XRP. I'm bullish on Ripple. I do think, at the moment I am not invested in any stocks. I think Ripple is one I absolutely would invest in the IPO. I
really,
think that's a company that's going to do very, very well. The problem is, do we pretend? Again, I'm not saying the death of XRP. The company will never crash the price of XRP so terribly that it gets rough. But let's remember, T-Shirt put it out. Ripple is the company and XRP is simply the token. And here's something that people say in a negative way, and it's not negative. XRP is a banker's coin. What does that mean? It does not mean that they're going to make it unfair in the future of currency that banks just stay in power. It actually enables banks to do things in a better, more efficient way. And in more of a way, it's not helping the big banks, it's helping the small banks. Because a lot of times when we talk about how evil banks are, what we're really thinking about is we're thinking about the Chases and the Bank of Americas and Citibank. We might have to discuss Citibank here again in a little bit. Here it might be going down. We're talking about larger banks that everyone knows about, but there are small banks all over the place, all over the world, that the use of XRP tokens, the use of what Ripple does as a company, would allow these smaller banks to stay in business, keeping competition alive and well, which stifles manipulation and control by singular entities, right? But it doesn't matter. They don't want the XRP price to crash, but they don't necessarily need the price per token of XRP to skyrocket in price. We could see XRP become a very boring price action. And in fact, a lot of people want to look for stability in price action. They don't want to see, it's always nice to see a 1,000% pump, but nobody likes seeing 80% dumps. No one really even likes seeing 50% dumps. What if XRP in the future, after an explosive bull market, in this bull market, we see it borderline become like a stable coin in price action to where it gets too high and Ripple sells their tokens to build up the Ripple company. And then every time that the price starts to drop, they stop selling, they build it back up. They maybe even invest more into XRP to keep the price action still. And in a way, you end up having this stability of a token that continues to allow the company Ripple to do their job in helping banks make easy, quick, and fast transactions to keep competition alive, right? I don't know for certain that's what's going to happen, but I'm saying that this is something when you're seeing the billions of tokens being unlocked by XRP that allows them to sell them. I don't think they're going to just sell them willy-nilly. They don't want to crash the price of XRP. That works against them. But they will have the ability in the future to stifle explosive movements of XRP because they want to keep propping up Ripple for the shareholders. I know that's a lot there, but I'm hoping that makes logical sense to people that you're tracking the process there. Let me know in chat what you guys think. Are you concerned about this? Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm totally off and XRP is just going to explode in price continually? Every single bull market still being volatile, just like the rest of the altcoins. That's kind of what I'm kind of laying out here. I think that this move stifles volatility in XRP, and some people actually might see that as a good thing.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting, Tim, we've gotten down deep in this conversation. It's really sparking a lot of thoughts for me. We'll probably have to push this to another time to really get down to the nitty gritty, maybe in a bro time or down in the Discord. But if you think about it, Ripple could really be one of the first companies to straddle the traditional markets and the crypto markets for liquidity building, right? To be and really, you just think about it in a purely in the purchasing power sense, right? If I'm Ripple Labs, right, and I just want to do a simple marketing campaign, how do I pay for that? Do I use some of the money that's been invested through shareholders, right, through the New York Stock Exchange to pay for a marketing campaign, or do I burn a little XRP, right? Do I spend XRP and pay that marketing company in XRP potentially, right? They're going to be faced with a set of problems a set of questions, not really problems, that has never been had before. And post this Judge Torres ruling, it really opens the door to a new kind of this new utopic crypto world that a lot of folks have theorized. Like, what if we go off? What if we completely go off the the TradFi standards and just go off into the crypto wilderness? I think Ripple is going to continue to be the pioneer here, as they have been. So there's a lot more to this conversation, obviously, but there's also more news to cover. So you ready to move on,
Well,
Tim, or you have a
yeah.
final word?
Well, I don't have a final word on the topic. I have a fun fact for T Shroom. This is a halftime of our trivia question.
Yeesh.
Guess what I found the other day?
A rock. My fidget spinner. That is mine.
I found your fidget spinner.
Let's fidget spin together, Tim, because I've got my new one right
Oh,
here. Yes.
wow. You've replaced
Can
it
you do that?
already.
Can you bounce it on your thumb? Look at that. Now mine will spin for 5 minutes. It's rated to spin for 5 minutes straight, which is actually kind of
Yeah,
cool.
I think mine is broken. I think I broke it. It's not 5 minutes.
That doesn't look broken to me. It looks good to go.
Well, I don't think it's going to make it. But anyway, let's keep on going with the news. This is a good day.
Yeah.
Everyone, by the way, now you can make a decision if you want to smash that like button or not. Yes, we're having some fun. Of course, we've had a lot of fun here recently on our live shows.
Right.
And I love it. I honestly love it because we're still covering the news. We're covering the charts. But I do love some of the chaos T-Show and I find ourselves in. If you guys enjoy that chaos as well, just like Dave Digital says, willy-nilly is just fun. Smash that like button just for willy-nilly's sake.
Yeah.
And then we'll continue on with the show.
Now,
we have another big story, of course.
Yeah, now
What
Pashas is chiming in, though, and said Jeremy
Oh.
something lawyer mentioned that IPO is not in the near future. So it's definitely not a sure thing, guys. That is one thing to remember.
Again, I disagree. But okay, let's continue.
Who knows? Army Piper popping up in the chat as well. All right, let's get on to this next story here. Elon Musk on XAI. None of my companies will ever create a crypto token. This, of course, is facing high scrutiny in the crypto space. Let's get into some of the details here and then give our takes. I may have to go chase down the factoid elf here in a few minutes and leave it to you, Tim. But I'll come back in just a few minutes.
What is he doing?
Well, we'll see. Okay, let's get into it. However, the development led to a strong rally in the price of XAI Corp, a fake token. And that's all I'm going to say. Don't go buy this, but just know that there's 200. I looked into it. There's like $2 million followed this company, which is just some fake crypto, right? So just be careful, guys. And it also kind of shows you how much is on the sidelines willing to just FOMO into some nothing coin. All right, but let's go back into some of the more the real details here. To be super clear, says Elon, none of my companies will ever create a crypto token. However, there have been reports that Elon Musk might be bringing a crypto wallet for X users.
Very big, very different, though. Yeah. So
yeah, very, very different. And then Elon said, as soon as it's out of early beta, XAI's Grok system will be available to all X Premium subscribers. But right now, it's being trialed by a small group. So, Tim, I want you to give your take. What do you think the future of this is? Do you think that X is going to be the next hot place to buy crypto? What are your thoughts on that? I got to go chase down the factoid elf really quickly, but I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right. You're left with me. All right. Here we go. No, I agree. Eric Wallinger said this is good. SEC would hammer him. I think it's very good that Elon Musk would not explore this route of creating a coin. At this point, I don't know. I'm sure there will be a coin that is not even created right now that here in a couple of years, we're going to be like, oh, this is amazing token, amazing project. But as a whole, when you're looking at what we currently have, when we have Bitcoin, the greatest store of value ever, we have Ethereum that for right now is the greatest place to build your company into the blockchain technology world in. It's the best place to use it. It's the best place for smart contracts at the moment. It's the best place at the moment to still build your NFTs. But you're seeing the resurgence of Solana. A lot of institutions and VCs loving what Solana's building. You, of course, have Cardano, a fan favorite here on this channel, fan favorite of mine. I think the decentralization aspect of Cardano, the priority of getting the unbanked bank. You have a lot of what you already need. That's not even talking about, you have Chainlink. We have even Polkadot out there, and Polkadot's making a surge as they're developing again. Someone asked here earlier what our thoughts on Polkadot are. Maybe we'll answer that here in just a little bit, Josh Denham. But I don't know, T-Shroom. You're back now, and hopefully the elf is rallied and he's taken care of. I don't know if there's a need for a bunch of new coins to come into the space to do anything. We'll always have surgences of meme coins. Of course, the one in this bull market, I think Pepe is going to be very, very interesting. It's had a bunch of up and down action. Meme coins will always be a thing. But when we're talking about legitimate new projects solving things, I just kind of am in a place, T-shirt, where I think that the ones that already exist are going to have the head start to figure out fixing those problems first. I think Elon knows that. I think that him deciding to say, I'm not going to play with the altcoin world. I'm not going to play with the token world. I'm going to focus on the actual housing of these things, because you and me both think, hey, let's just get cold wallets. Let's do self-custody. I'm good with that. And I will always preach learning how to hold your own keys, because if they're not your keys, it's not your crypto. But I'm not gonna just not say the obvious. The majority of the world does not want to hold their own crypto. They want security. They've gotten so used to the banking world. They want someone else to deal with the details and the problems. They just want to make the money and then let someone else hold it for them. And I think Elon knows that. And I think that I'm not going to bet against him when he says that he thinks Twitter, now called X, can become the financial hub of the world, the one super app that you really don't need anything else. You get your social media, you get your finance, you get your news, you get everything from that app. If there's a human on this planet that can accomplish this, it's Elon Musk. And again, I'm going to always fight and have my self custody as well. But I'm interested to see what an X wallet looks like. I'm interested to see what finance world looks like on X, rather than using banks. He could put banks out of business. He could put a lot of the crappy exchanges out of business. I don't think Coinbase or Binance are going to go anywhere, at least anytime soon. But maybe a lot of these other little ones that pop up all over the place, they're just not going to be able to do anything because X is so easy to use, so accessible.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm looking at right now, T-shirt. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of it's a glimmer into the future, right? Because I was listening back to the conversation that I had with the founder of Midjourney, and it really kind of makes me think about this future where we're not so worried about money, not in some kind of like, oh, we're all elevated, mature beings, that, we just focus on our passion and not money. I think literally the future could look like where we're way more concerned about art and creation and, like, I don't know, but I don't think that I think that there could be a future where money in exchange for goods and services kind of falls into the background, to the backdrop, because of how efficiently, because what is markets? What are markets and what is prices? All it is translations for efficient movement of goods and services across time and space, right? And there's people are the nodes currently in markets, in that language, in that ability to communicate, that is responsible for that, right? And money is kind of like the language substrate that helps oil that machine to be able to get goods and services from places where people aren't to the places where people are who would use those services or resources. Okay. AI, along with cryptocurrency, I believe can completely replace what markets are. That communication layer of society that gets grain from Russia down to Brazil, where they can't grow grain for some reason. For example, I know they can grow grain in Brazil, right? But instead of having traders getting paid to do that, right, and taking advantage of little arbitrages in the markets, instead of that, it's just an AI that's efficiently seeing, oh, this tractor just pulled in X amount of weight of corn. Okay, so now we know that the corn that's sitting in this silo over here in Eastern Europe, that can now move down to Vietnam and feed the Vietnamese people in city XYZ, right? Versus a trader having to make that observation and then move the commodities accordingly, right? And you can copy and paste that into the services industry, technological industries. You really can't copy and paste that into actual technological innovation itself necessarily. I mean, you could probably make the argument with AGI that you could eventually, right? But eventually what I'm seeing is a platform like X is really just telling you what kind of food is available for you in the next week, right? And what kind of, art is on the menu for you to go create and participate in. And yes, it's coming out of your account in some sense, but it's not really an account that you're worried about in so many words. So this is a very abstract and opaque description of what I think the future is. But I think if anybody is prepared to contribute and create this future, it's going to be Elon. And if you think that everything that I'm talking about right now is gobbledygook, well, the next article just might surprise you, because from decrypt.com we get this headline: Elon Musk predicts the end of all jobs. Google AI executives disagree. So this is kind of where I was going with this, is that in the same way that an AI would control the means of exchange and resource allocation more efficiently than the current markets do, human reliant markets do, you would also experience a lowering in cost of everything. So I think I'm probably going too abstract here, Tim. But let's just get into the article here a little bit.
Yeah,
For the first time, we will have something that is smarter than the smartest human, Musk said. It's hard to say exactly what that moment is, but there will come a point where no job is needed. You can have a job if you want to have a job, or sort of personal satisfaction, but the AI will be able to do everything. Artificial intelligence is not new. The idea of robots, supercomputers, superintelligence goes, because this is more commentary here. You'll likely be able to ask for anything, and we won't have a universal basic income. We'll have a universal high income, he said. So in some sense, it will be somewhat of a lever, an equalizer, because everyone will have access to this magic genie, right? So, I was trying to set this up because this is like all kind of crazy gobbledygook talk, unless you're somebody who's thinking on the levels of Elon Musk, which in our audience, in our community, I know that there are several people who kind of think at this level, right? Which is really, really cool. But it's hard to accept in some sense.
We discussed this the other day, though, Tisha. We discussed the concept of AI changing how things work. Now, I still think we'll need, and they're going to get to a point where AI has better engineers than humans as well, right? But I still think for especially, as we look to the beginning of AI really taking jobs away, it's going to take away the low labor, the high labor jobs. It's going to take away the burger flipping. It's going to take away the digging ditches on the side of the road. It's going to take away driving. It's going to take away it's going to take away the need to drive, and it's going to take away the need to have transportation vehicles, right? But it's going to lower costs as well. And you're going to see as the economy does better and these companies do better and people are making money, I think there's going to be a big push towards entertainment and bettering of self-being, right? I don't see a day. I'm not saying that there will be no sports or no entertainment that's not AI, but I am going to say I think that human entertainment will never go away. The concept of watching humans play football, humans play basketball, humans racing on a track. We're never going to say who has the fastest robot. They're going to wire those things so fast that you wouldn't even see them actually even move, right? We want to see humans do things. And then someone else said it here. The minute you have to stop working for your money, I think Dave Digital said this. Very weird, deep thought from Dave Digital, coming in with some great takes here. He said, we'll work to better human beings and better ourselves around and better the world. I think that there will be humans who take advantage of low cost or free living and get very, very lazy, and they're going to die off. That breed's going to die off. I think that there will be a people who see the freedom of not having to work for money and express themselves and better themselves in other ways to make themselves better, to make those people around them better. They'll, whether it's entertainment, whether it's personal, we're looking at things like this, like just Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg, one of the wealthiest human beings in the world, built Meta, which was Facebook, and then of course there's Instagram and all that stuff. Very wealthy individual. What is he spending the majority of his time doing right now? And he just got injured, so he's going to have to take a delay from this. But my man's going ham at the MMA world. He is training. He just tore his ACL. I saw a post here last night, I believe, that he's going to have to start that long, at least 8 months to a year recovery. But my man is going ham on learning MMA. Is he ever going to fight in an MMA match that he fights like the best fighters in the world? No, but he's bettering his body. He's using his time, his ability, his free time to just work on himself and do something he enjoys. I think you'll see determined, disciplined people start to do that. Like if my brain isn't needed to solve the top problems of the world, I'll find something else as a disciplined person to apply my time to. I'm not going to sit on the couch all day watching movies, eating free food, and then just dying at a young age because of my health problems, right? Some people will, but I think that there's disciplined people in the world who will say, all right, money's not a problem to me. I'm actually going to enjoy this freedom and better myself and the people around me. And there will always, and I pray this doesn't go away, there will always be a need for human touch, human interaction, human people doing things, not just AI
Mhm.
taking over and being the end all be all for every facet of life.
Yeah.
I still think you'll need humans making key decisions in terms of, I think we'll always have human politicians, which that one might be one it'd be nice to get rid of. But I think you'll still have humans all over the place doing different things. I know Elon Musk says that these AI will be smarter than humans. They'll be smarter than humans in certain facets. I'll just say this though. I believe that the beauty of God's design in the human brain, if you just look at the science of what happens in your brain, I don't think AI is going to ever be able to fully replicate the beauty of what happens inside a human head. It's complex. It makes no sense to doctors. It makes no sense to scientists. Now, there will be certain details. AI will be way better at math than us. AI will be way better at building things than us. AI will not get injured. They don't have feelings, so they won't have days they come into work and they don't want to do any work because they just had a hard conversation with their wife. That's not going to happen. But there are still things that we do as humans that I don't believe AI will ever be able to replicate. Is it love? Is it anger? Is it passion? Is it frustration? What is it? I don't know if I can put my thumb on it. It's just the combination of what we do. I believe that every single human that walks this planet is a beautiful thing. And some people have used that beauty for evilness, and that saddens me. But I still believe in the future of the human mind being supreme to AI, and there'll still being things to do to benefit the world that AI can't accomplish.
Right. Right. And look, we're really trying to respond here to this Elon Musk, comment about that work will be replaced. Elon Musk predicts the end of all jobs. I was saying this back in 2020, right? That this could happen. This is something that has been thought of by a lot of different people. Whether or not it's going to be smarter than humans, it's almost like I mean that's like an art. It's an interesting conversation. I think what's much more interesting is like, what do we do? What do we spend our time doing? Because certainly with a lot of things, some massive percentage will be replaced. It already is. Some percentage already has been replaced by AI. Some percentage of work, right? Labor hours have been replaced. It's just the question of what do we do then? Like, what do we do with all of our free time? And, art is kind of the first thing that springs to mind. Someone mentioned in the chat families, growing a family, that would be awesome. But I will caution that there is a future where things are very, very good when AI is able to bring costs down essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
And remove us from having to work so much, which again sounds very utopic, sounds very maybe unrealistic to some people. But I think that the only way we get there is there's going to have to be some pain. There's going to have to be some growing pains
Mm-hmm.
in order to get there, where whatever there is and whatever that looks like. I don't know. I don't claim to know exactly what that's going to be. But some of the greatest minds, including Elon Musk, is deeming it a near certainty. Okay. And there's a lot of other changes going on in the world that seem to coincide with this, one of which, brought to you by CNBC here, retirement is overrated, Gen Z says, as a soft saving trend takes hold. So this soft trading...
I think that's a nice way of just. I think that's people saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm looking at my finances and how this works. I'm not gonna retire someday. I'm gonna have to work for forever." Yeah, retirement's overrated.
Well,
That's stupid.
I've been saying this for a long time. Entire Western society is almost based on the concept of retirement, right? This concept where from an early age of elementary school, you're trying to learn colors and shapes and letters and stuff so you can be competitive enough to get into certain, schools and certain programs within public schools. And all of it, if you really run it all out, it's so that you'll have enough money in the end to retire. Well, I think another benefit of the future is that the concept of retirement may completely fall to the wayside because we'll all be retired in some sense. We'll retire. Now, again, look, you might be hearing my words and being like, T-Shroom, you utopic freak. Why are you being like this? Right. And in some sense, I completely agree with you. But the way that technology is developing right now is different from the past. It's different from just the Industrial Revolution, which was a linear growth trajectory, whereas here there is a exponential growth trajectory of human labor being replaced. At least there is the potential for that, which is why we're saying these things that maybe 4 or 5 years ago, right, would have been kind of absurd to say. Technology changes things. It always has. and it looks like it's going to in a very big way. But the so-called soft savings trend is about living in the moment with less emphasis on retiring early or none at all. But when it comes to savings, young adults should not discount the power of compound interest. Now, of course, this is always going to be true. But Tim, what do you think about this? Do you see anybody in your life, maybe some younger cousins or people who are just spending their money instead of saving it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I think this is why we talk about this a decent amount here on this channel. If you are here in crypto just trying to make money and you don't have a purpose and you don't have something that money is supposed to serve, you'll never be satisfied. You will always be chasing the next dollar or the next coin, and you'll be miserable. And there's a people that say, "Oh, let me save so I can enjoy life when I'm 65," right? And they end up just killing themselves for their entire youth and middle age and the time that they could probably spend the most time with their kids, the time they could have the greatest impact on people around them, the time they had the most energy. And then they get to 65 and yeah, they have all this money stored up, but now their bodies and their minds have broken down to where they cannot enjoy it in the way they could have in their youth. And I think that's a mistake. But then you also have these younger people who are like, "Oh, I can't enjoy money when I'm older. Let me just go ahead and spend it all now." But then when their health starts to break down and the people around them start to break down, they have nothing to go on. And then you have these mental, because they're so focused on themselves in the same mindset with that money, then depression starts to settle in. And then you foster this chaoticness. Neither of those is the right solution. You need to be able to stop to smell the grass, stop to smell the flowers, enjoy life in your youth, enjoy life with your kids while they're young. At the same time, though, have that work ethic and that dedication to build for generational wealth in the future. But you cannot do that if there's no plan, if you have no purpose, if it is just about money. If you're thinking about money in the future for retirement and you don't spend time enjoying your life when you're young, you've wasted everything. And if you do nothing but enjoy your youth and you just chase money to enjoy your youth, you're going to lose everything in the later ends of your years when you can benefit people from your wisdom and knowledge, everything else. You've got to find a balance to do both of those. And the only way to do that is know what is your purpose. Whatever your purpose is in life, you do that whether you are 20 years old or whether you are 70 years old. You do that whether you have to work a full-time job, a part-time job, or you can sit in retirement. But to say I'm not going to accomplish my purpose until I'm 65 is a mistake. And to say that, well, I don't really have a purpose, I just need to enjoy my youth, that's a mistake. You need to figure out who you are as a person, what you were put here to do, what makes you happy that has nothing to do with yourself. And you need to do those things at all times while keeping an edge of dedication and discipline to know I don't want to just waste all of my money now. I want to build something in the future that is worth passing on to my children, to my children's children, to people around me. And it's hard. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's the easy thing to do, but I can tell you it starts with you have to know your purpose. And if you don't know your purpose, you're swinging at the air and you're not going to make contact with anything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Another supporting article that I did find was here from a couple, I think it was last week. This was the executive orders from Biden around AI. And one of the line items here is supporting workers by producing a report on the potential labor market implications of AI and studying the ways the federal government could support workers affected by disruptions in the labor market. Guys, this is not like some pie in the sky. Oh, AI is not going to really replace jobs. Like, say what you will about Biden. This is not a story about Biden. Okay, he's a very meme figure. I get it, but from the United States government, right, is issuing an executive order on these things, a report to be done to try and figure out what the heck is going to happen when AI replaces jobs. Right? It's not something that we want to discourage. Right? Yeah. Because it would be dumb. It would also be a distortion in the labor markets when there is a better supplier of labor, AI. It's a distortion to stifle that technology and then distort the prices, which will eventually correct. Okay, so it's complicated, guys, and I'm projecting that there's going to be pain before we reach this better, greener grasses on the other side here. There's going to be pain. This is not going to be good before it's going to get bad before it gets good. I can't say it any more simply than that. That's my opinion. I spend a lot of time thinking about this kind of stuff. Let's get to the factoid. You ready?
Yeah. And by the way, leave it to Army Piper to misuse one word and start a great conversation in chat. Did you say go outside and smoke the grass? It's not what I said. If that makes you happy, do it at a healthy rate. That's all I'm going to say.
I think that's going to be how a lot of people spend their newfound freedom and time is exploration of substances. If that's something you're thinking about doing, make sure you do plenty of research and do it in the healthiest way you can.
Indie Rock Crypto says grass party at AP's. Let's freaking go.
I love it.
All right. Yeah, what is this factoid? What is who is the leader of Saudi Arabia?
Factoid of the day.
I'm wrong. Okay, I already see the X. So
what? You see the X?
There's a red X next to B.
No, you are actually right. It is Mohammed.
So why
bin
was
Salman.
there a red X next to it? Now I'm.
What are you talking about? Red X.
Look at
this.
Look at to the left. Yeah.
That is just Google Documents. I can leave a note with Google Docs. If you've never
used
Google,
red X?
This segment is brought to you by Google Docs. Go ahead and give it a check it out. It's a free service. Check this out. This is Mohammed bin Salman here.
Okay.
Now, why am I bringing this up? I have become very fascinated with Saudi Arabia in the last couple weeks. Okay. There's such a thing called Anglophiles. You know what an Anglophile is, Tim?
I've definitely heard it, but I don't know what that is.
So an Anglophile is like people who are obsessed with England, right? An Anglican culture, right? Which is the British people going to London and all that kind of stuff.
Is that another way of saying that you're white?
No. No. An Anglophile, you guys can look it up. It's just a person who really likes England, right? It's just like a.
Again, I repeat my question.
No, Anglophile. How would that be? File. Anglophile, a person who is fond or greatly admires England or Britain.
This sounds very anti-American.
Whatever. It might be. Anyway, okay, so Mohammed bin Salman, I have become a bit of a Saudi Arabia file. And here's why. It's because for a long time, it has been ruled by choice A, Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, who is currently the king, right? He's the king of Saudi Arabia, but he's getting old and he's a lot less influential. And so for a long time, Saudi Arabia has kind of been ruled as like a, how it's been, right? I don't want to try to characterize it because I'm much more concerned about the future, right? Which is what this guy is concerned about, Mohammed bin Salman. He kind of strikes me as becoming a little bit of a Nayib Bukele type, where he's coming into this, but the difference is that Saudi Arabia is in a totally different situation than El Salvador, where Saudi Arabia, in a lot of respects, is one of the richest countries in the world.
Yes.
And they also have this very futuristic element to them already baked in, which is that they have this it's a kingdom, right? It's not a democracy. It's a kingdom where the king has been taking care of the people, right? A lot of the people there in Saudi Arabia don't work. They're just beneficiaries of the oil industry there, oil exports.
They're peasants, modern day peasants.
Sure, subjects, I think would be the more affirming term there. But anyway, where is all this going? Who cares? I do. They have all these construction plans for the line. I don't know if you've heard of that. The line in Nome.
No.
It's and then they're off the coast of Saudi Arabia is the UAE, right? Which is, the bastion of crypto. A lot of folks have moved there. Crypto Seth and Crypto Archie both moved to Dubai in the UAE for, basically the tax haven implications of it. But anyway, overall, Saudi Arabia, I'm super bullish on it. The other choices were Sadiq Khan, who's completely unrelated. He is just the mayor of London. And then Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who you rightly identified as just a famous soccer player. But I thought his name kind of sounded like somebody who could be the prime minister of Saudi Arabia. But let me know what you guys think about Saudi Arabia. Are you hearing any rumblings? I'm getting tons of ads these days trying to get me to go visit there, and honestly, I really want to so bad. I want to go see Saudi Arabia, but maybe in like the next 3 years, because right now they're still doing a lot of the building projects,
Yeah.
and I don't
I
know.
also
But
don't know if this is the right time to travel to that part of the globe.
that's true. That's true, Tim. But low key, yeah, actually, we'll not. We'll save this for a non-public conversation. But
Yeah.
there's some developments there that do.
Shout out to our memberships. If you guys want to have some fun with Bro Times, hit that join button right below there on YouTube. We've had this week was great. Both Bro Times were fantastic. Great conversations. We laughed, we cried, we smiled, we did more crying. I don't know what the opposite
Yes.
of smiling. We grimaced.
Yeah. Well, we definitely smiled when we saw how Hello Token is doing. Let's see. Still 28% to the upside right now on the day. Very nice.
Well, you want to know what excites me, T-Shroom? Now that it is 12:05 and the
College
show
football
of crypto is over, but it's time to go on the Tim picks of the week for college football. The reason we do this, guys, is because the show's over. Have a great weekend if you love crypto. Go touch some grass. If smoking grass is your prerogative, have at it. Be safe. Don't go overboard with it, but have some fun. But if you enjoy football, that's another way to relax. That's you guys talk about what Tim does to relax. Football is my grass. I don't smoke football, but I watch it. Get some predictions here. Top 25. Virginia Tech is in a top 25 game this week. We're going to talk about that one here in a second. Kansas State versus Texas. Two good teams. I do think Texas takes this one, though. I think Texas is clearly the better team. Kansas State can make this interesting. If this was at Kansas State, I might be tempted to say upset Kansas State, but it's at Texas. I think they control. Tennessee beating UConn. UConn 1-7. Yeah, it's not going to be close. They're playing right now. They're already up 7-0. So not a hard one to call that one. Rutgers is better than most people think, but Ohio State is the better team here. Rutgers has a rushing team. The defense for Ohio State is very good at stopping the run. Rutgers defense is okay. Ohio State has Harrison. It's not going to be. I think Ohio State potentially covers this spread over 18. Texas A&M versus Ole Miss. I'm going Ole Miss. I think that they're at home, way better offense. I think Texas A&M is even rooting against them. I think they want an excuse to fire Fisher at this point. Give me Ole Miss. This one is going to be the interesting one. Clemson 4-4, but they are at home. Notre Dame, number 15, but 7-2. What does Notre Dame have to play for at this point? They're out of the playoff. And Clemson is a much better team than that 4-4 record, and they are due for a win. I'm going to go ahead and go with an upset pick here. That's Clemson over Notre Dame at home. That's my first upset pick. I don't know if there's another one. Utah beats Arizona State, easy. Air Force beats Army, easy. Georgia, Missouri. I think this might be the hardest game that Georgia plays Ole Miss, I think. But Missouri's a good team as well. But Georgia's at home. Played phenomenal against our Gators here last week, T-Shroom. Georgia wins this game. It's over. Florida State will beat a very interesting Pittsburgh team that's 2-6. They're better than a 2-6 record, but they're not good. Florida State wins that game. Although I would not be surprised if for some weird reason they don't win it by 21 points. Florida State has a way of being as talented as they are. They play down in their bad games and they play really well in their hard games. I don't think they cover the spread here. Oklahoma over Oklahoma State. Even though Oklahoma State's at home, I'm not impressed with Oklahoma State this year. Oklahoma wins that game. They need to bounce back too after a disappointing loss. They're still in it for the playoff, but they're going to win that game. Penn State over Maryland easily. Here we go. Virginia Tech over Louisville. Now, if you had asked me this question yesterday, I would have had to, through tears in my eyeballs, say, I think it's going to be a very good game, but Louisville wins it, right? But I found out this morning that Louisville is going to miss their starting cornerback. Their best cornerback is out. And they do have good DBs, but one of them is gone. That's not good. Then four offensive players are game time decisions. But I'm hearing that they're leaning towards not being able to play or being limited in their snaps. And the four players, their running back, who is very, very good, is one of the ones who more than likely cannot play. Their top receiver, who has more than 3 times as many yards as any other receiver, is gone. They're pretty much, those are the two players that do anything for offense. Like when those two players are out, their offense is not that good. And both those players are limited. Then you talk about more important positions. Maybe the most important position on the offensive line, the left tackle, their left tackle is out. That's actually confirmed. The second player that's out, the second most important player on the line of scrimmage, the center. So they're losing their 2 best offensive linemen, their 2 best offensive playmakers, their best defensive back It's still going to be a close game, but give me the Hokies with an upset win over Louisville at Louisville. It's actually Louisville, not Louisville. Louisville. Give me the Hokies. And not just because my heart says go Hokies, but on paper, we're on a roll right now. Our offense is clicking. Our defense has been phenomenal, and they're missing some pretty key players. Going to be a good one, but give me Virginia Tech. Holy crap.
That was really loud. I'm so sorry.
What the freak? All right.
I'm so sorry. That was.
I
took a risk and it did not pay off.
All right. Josh says my Kentucky family calls it Louisville. I heard someone say the other day, when you say it, you have to say it like you've already had like at least 3 glasses of bourbon. Louisville. It's okay. Louisville. All right, here we go.
Louisville.
Tulane over East Carolina, they're terrible. Oregon over California, or California's terrible. Kansas over Iowa State, but that'll be closer than some people think. Oh yeah, it's only not than people think. There's only a 3-point line. Kansas still wins that game. Michigan over Purdue. Give me Washington over USC, but this one will be a shootout, I think. Washington's defense has not been playing well, and USC is a very good offense, but they can't stop anybody. Give me Washington in a shootout, but it'll be fun. Alabama, LSU. I think Alabama is going to take this one. They're going to win this game over LSU. I think LSU had me tricked there for a little bit, making me think they were going to be good, but they weren't as good as I thought. Oregon State over Colorado. I think the magic of Colorado's season is done. I think they're done. Good for them. They might win another 2 games, get to a bowl, but that might be about it. And then give me UCLA over Arizona. Very, very clean picks. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong?
Did you do the Gators?
The Gators are not a top 25 lineup this week. They're not playing the top 25 team. And I do the top 25 picks.
Is Florida and the Razorbacks. Who do you think wins?
Gators. I think Gators. I think Georgia's a very good team. I think that Florida came out hot but couldn't sustain it. Arkansas is struggling. Their coach is on the hot seat. I think that the team is losing confidence over there in Arkansas. So give me the Gators on that one. They need a bounce back win from Georgia anyway. Josh Denham said, woo, pig suey. So he's an Arkansas fan, it looks like. Sorry about that, Josh Denham. You got the trivia question right, but I do have to disagree with you on the pick of that game. He agrees. Yeah, we're struggling hard. Hey, listen, maybe it's a good thing to lose out, get a new coach. Maybe it's time for a fresh start. I don't know if you guys really like the coach or not, but I've heard that he's on the hot seat. That's all we have for you guys today. Make sure you guys join the Discord. There's a free version as well. The conversation never stops over there. But with that said, this is our last show of the weekend. You guys have a fantastic rest of your week. We will see you Monday morning for our regularly scheduled content. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.